Do you ever feel like no matter how much rest you get, you still wake up feeling exhausted? Maybe you take time off of work and life's responsibilities, but the stress still never really leaves. It's like your brain is stuck on overdrive, or worse, maybe you feel completely shut down. If that sounds familiar, there's nothing wrong per se, you're not broken. Likelihood is your nervous system is just trying to protect you. Now in the next few minutes, I'm going to share what is likely happening inside of your body when you're stressed and burned out, why self-awareness and creating a sense of safety can remedy this, and what you can do today to start resetting your nervous system. Now the big problem can be is that the nervous system could actually be stuck. Now stress and burnout isn't just about doing too much, it's about our body sometimes getting stuck in these different types of survival mode. I used to think that stress and burnout meant that I just needed a bit more recovery, right? Or I needed to reduce the things that were stressing me. And to a point, that's true. But 10 years ago, I got to a point where I was completely burned out. I was an emotional wreck. I physically wasn't really functioning the way that I wanted to be for my day-to-day and for the high-pressure job that I was in at the time. And I just thought that if I just recover more, then I'll be okay. But every time I tried to eat better or exercise more or sleep better and all of the things that I thought I was supposed to do, I just felt more and more drained. And it didn't make any sense to me whatsoever until I realised what was actually happening inside of my body. See, I'm like most people that think that burnout or stress is a rest problem. You can just get more sleep or you can go on holiday and everything will be fine. But the truth is, if your nervous system is dysregulated, your body never actually rests. It's like trying to sleep while your brain still thinks that there's a lion outside of the cave trying to come and get you. And this is why you feel stuck, perhaps anxious, exhausted, and unable to fully relax. There was a Harvard study that revealed that people with a dysregulated nervous system struggle to enter deep states of rest, and that kept them trapped in this state of exhaustion. Now, after working with hundreds of clients over the last couple of decades to relieve stress, burnout and overwhelm and instead live in happiness, optimal health and high performance, the most common mistakes I see is that most people will try willpower and pushing through and ignoring how our body actually feels. And what is actually happening is the nervous system is likely then just getting stuck, right? It's getting stuck in this fight, flight, freeze or fawn state. So fight or flight is when we want to literally fight or run away and get out of stress as quickly as possible. Freeze is when we do nothing and perhaps withdraw, and fawn is when we adapt to people-pleasing tendencies, or we try to blend in to keep ourselves safe. And all of this is an attempt at keeping us safe, because if our body doesn't feel safe, we cannot recover properly. So I want you to just imagine that your nervous system is like an orchestra. When the stressors in our lives get too loud, the whole system goes out of balance. So the self-regulation is like the conductor bringing everything back into harmony. So we need to start to become a bit more self-regulated as the conductor, bringing ourselves back into that beautiful sound that an orchestra can make. So recognizing that the stress and perhaps burnout that we're experiencing is stemming from perhaps our ability to feel safe inside our body is really the first step to really being able to overcome what we're experiencing. So self-awareness is key, and we can only really start to be self-aware when we start to recognize that actually burnout and stress is not just physical. It can be emotional, it can be spiritual, it can be mental, it can be neurological. There are so many different contributing factors to what we could be experiencing. So self-awareness is the first step, and the second step is recognizing how safe do we feel inside of our body. So what I'm going to share with you now is something from the polyvagal theory, which is all around our stress response and how we can perhaps start to be a bit more self-aware when it comes to our own recovery and bringing ourselves back into a sense of safety. So the first thing that I want you to imagine is that you have inside your body what we call a window of tolerance. And this is inside your body, inside your nervous system, right? So what happens is when we are feeling particularly stressed, our window of tolerance starts to manage our stress response. And if our window stays open, we end up feeling like we are in a resourceful space, right? Typically when we're in this space, we feel energy, we might feel more present, we feel like we are safe. We would typically feel like we're pretty calm, and we would feel like maybe we are experiencing high performance or feeling quite engaged with life itself, which is great, right? And ideally, that's the goal. We spend as much time as we can, perhaps in those resourceful states. But then what happens is life comes along, and sometimes it can make our window close. So our window actually gets a bit smaller. And when that window closes, we can move into something called hyper arousal, right? And when we go into hyper arousal, this can often be where we're feeling maybe anxious, maybe we feel scared or panic, maybe we feel like we are quite emotional. Typically, this is where we are in our fight or flight state, right? Where we want to run away, we want to stick around and have a fight because we've got all of this like high pent up energy that we just want to release. We might also feel quite vigilant when we're in this space as well. So we're like on it and constantly on the go, and our mind might be a bit preoccupied. Now, that's one thing that can happen, but the other thing that can happen is we can move into this place, right, which also closes our window, right? So it keeps our window quite small, and we move into a place called hypoarousal, right? So sometimes stress for everybody doesn't look the same, right? Sometimes we can actually feel like we're quite shut down, right? Maybe we withdraw, maybe we feel quite numb and we're not really in touch with our emotions. Maybe we feel like we don't want to move, right? Perhaps we also feel like we are a little bit dissociated, like we want to disconnect from what's happening in life, right? And we feel disengaged. Typically, this is when we go into that freeze state where we just feel like we want to be still, or we feel stuck and we actually can't move forwards. And sometimes it's when we move into that fawn state, which is where we start to adapt to just fit in so that we don't stand out and we blend in, or we people please so that we don't like rock the boat and cause any trouble. All of these things are happening in an attempt for us to really take control and to feel safe within our body. So it's very natural in life for us to go in and out of these different states. But what we want to aim to do is recognize, when are we falling out of our window? When is our window of tolerance closing? And how can we start to open that window? And that's what I'm going to share with you next. So 3 things that you can start doing today that are going to help your nervous system to almost reset itself, right? The first one is to become aware of it. It's shocking how much value there is to simply bringing our awareness to our body and to what it is we're actually feeling. Just our awareness alone can actually start to shift us back into that healthy window. So what we're looking for here is for us to really just notice when we're feeling quite wired, or if we're feeling quite stuck in our body, and make a note of it, write it down, because our body is continuously giving us signals, and it's up to us to start listening to them. So what I would suggest is for ideally around 5 minutes a day, but even 2 minutes a day to start would be amazing, is to just simply sit and feel into your body. Now, if you're like the way I used to be, which is where my mind was always all over the place, I couldn't concentrate or really recognize what was happening inside my body, you can also use your hands, right? Close your eyes and use your hands to kind of just scan through your body and recognize, okay, what am I feeling, right? What's going on here? Maybe I'm feeling a little bit tight in my shoulders. Okay, maybe I'm feeling a bit stiff, right? Maybe I'm feeling my heart is pounding. Right? You'll start to recognize these little cues, and these little cues will just start to help you see, okay, this is where I am. Maybe I'm in that hypo state, maybe I'm in that hyper state, maybe I am feeling like I want to run away right now, maybe I'm struggling to sit still, or maybe you feel really heavy in your body. All your awareness is going to do is going to say to your nervous system that you're listening. And that on its own can make your body feel safe because you're no longer ignoring it. The second step to do is to create what we call these micro moments of safety, right? Or safety anchors, where we anchor ourselves into safety. So our nervous system, our body, our inner self starts to recognize that it's okay. We're not being chased by a lion right now. Whatever's stressing me out at work can wait. That's at work, right? Or maybe it's not even that stressful at all and we're just perceiving it to be. But ultimately, when we create these moments to remind ourselves that we feel safe, it reassures us. And from there, immediately that sends a different level of communication to our body to say, okay, we can calm down right now. And we can do this by simply putting our hand on our chest and saying, I am safe, everything's okay. And just reminding ourselves of that can be extremely powerful. But what we can also do, and this is one of my favorites, is to really regulate our breath. And that's really, really, really simple to do. You can literally take a big breath in, hold it for a few seconds, and breathe out through the mouth, right? Ideally, holding it in for around 4 seconds, holding it for 4 seconds, and out for 4 seconds can send a really nice safety signal to your body, to your mind, that brings us back into that resourceful space. And the third thing to do is to then move your energy around your body. So if we're in this like fight or flight state, right, and you recognize that you can't sit still when you're scanning your body, or you recognize that perhaps you're just a bit like busy mentally in your mind, then move that energy, shake it out, right? Go for a walk, dance, jump around, like use that energy, because it's going to sort of start to shake it outside of your body. Animals know this best. They always do this. If they're feeling particularly unsafe, or they've just like got something that's threatening that's happened, you'll see them walk off and have a shake, right? This happens in nature. For animals, it happens within us too. And then if we notice when we're doing that scan that we feel stuck, right, or we feel heavy, practice a little bit of slow breathing or gentle movement, something very mindful. Or even one of my favorites, like have a nice warm bath or put the heater on, snuggle up. These are things that help us to regulate our nervous system. So I'd love for you to perhaps give one of these a try and let us know what works best for you, right? Drop a little note into the comments or send us a message and let us know, because burnout and stress isn't always about how much we're doing, it's about how safe we feel inside of our body. You can be doing all of the right things when it comes to eating well, or exercising well, or reducing stress, right? Saying no to more things. Those things can help, but if we still feel unsafe and our body is jumping in and out of this hyper arousal or hypo arousal, or we get stuck in one of those states, it doesn't matter. So we have to start to regulate that nervous system. There are many ways to do it, but start with these 3 things. And if you feel like they are not really working for you, that's the time to maybe reach out, speak to a coach, speak to somebody who you really, really trust, that has experience in this space, because there might be some other things they can explore with you. So if you do want to go into understanding burnout and recovery a little bit like deeper and easier as well, I highly recommend you watching a video that I've created previously called Burnout and Recover. It explains more about what burnout is, what it isn't, the different types of burnout, the common myths around it, what most people believe but actually do more than harm than good, and most importantly, how to overcome it. If this video that you're watching right now has been useful for you, please do share it with somebody that you care about that might need to see it too. But I would just want to say thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for bringing your attention to a place where perhaps you can start to regulate yourself and feel good. Because when we're healthy and well, we can be a force for good in the world. And if we don't regulate our nervous system, burnout or stress can keep controlling life. And the good news is you have the power to change it, starting right now. So go ahead, jump in and give it a try. Take care, be well, and I'll see you soon.
If you enjoyed this episode and you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.
Then share it with a friend who you think might benefit.
Spread the word. That's how we're going to impact the world, by helping each other.
We appreciate you so much, and as always, unconditional love and wellness to you.